Hello and welcome to the Let That Shift Go podcast. I'm Noel.
And I'm Lena.
And this is where we talk about the good, the bad, and all the shift in between.
We just talk mad shift.
Let's get into it.
And on today's episode, I have a very special guest, Hilda Reyes. She's a dear friend, client, confidant, all the things. And I really wanted to have her on the podcast today because I think that her story of her own awakening or how she knew it was time to take a shift is something that will resonate with many of you. And if you've ever questioned your reality in a relationship or wondered if this is what love is supposed to feel like, this one's for you. So welcome, Hilda.
Thank you for having me, my dear friend, Lena.
We're both a little nervous because, but we're just going to pretend nobody's listening.
Yeah, nobody is.
And we're just going to have a conversation like we normally do. So I want you, the question is, how did you know it was time to take a shift, right? And maybe letting us know what your relationship looked like before.
In which way?
Well, the relationship that really kind of emanated, that this is time. So tell me a little bit about who Hilda is and what happened.
Who am I now?
Well, yeah. Who are you now? But who were you? What started it?
Let's start. Who was Hilda? She was lost. It's the best way.
Yeah.
Completely disconnected from herself.
Okay.
And that typically tends to happen due to trauma, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we find coping mechanisms. And that brought me to the hands of the person who brought me to my awakening.
And
right?
Who was that? Yeah.
My ex-husband.
Okay.
And I will start by saying that I am so thankful for the experience because I love the woman that I've become due to it, right?
Yeah.
So I met this handsome man.
Mm-hmm.
And my whole life, I was never the woman that wanted to get married. That wasn't something that I ever saw myself. I didn't see it in my life.
Okay.
I was a mom. I became a mom when I was a teenager. I was a young mom. But even at that, I was more of a hustler per se.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a personal trainer back then, and she kept telling me, I know the perfect man for you. He'd be a great provider. He would love you and your daughter. And my mindset was like, no, I'm not interested. I was pretty free spirit and was on my own journey, which was, I was just lost. And, growing up, I come from a Hispanic parents, and I had the most amazing parents, and they did the best they could with what they knew. Right? Because we don't have a playbook on how to be a parent.
Yeah. We
kind of just go along the way. And I think a lot of the dynamic that I saw was one of the reasons I did not want marriage.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want to obey a man. I was pretty rebellious my whole life. I was pretty dysfunctional.
Yeah.
And so then my trainer introduced me to him, and he befriended me on Facebook and started complimenting my pictures. And I mean, you do that to a woman that has no self-love and needs outside validation. I mean, you're going to feed her ego.
Yeah.
And growing up, I really never felt safe. I had all different types of abuse that you can possibly imagine as a child, SA, physical, verbal. So I just never felt safe in general, in my body, just in life. And I started talking to this man, and it was so weird because he made me feel safe.
Mm-hmm.
And it
said all the things you needed to hear.
Oh, God, yeah. I mean, seriously, he did. And at that time, I was just dating a lot of men, if I'm going to be honest. I got my validation from that. And that's where I looked for it.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt loved. Obviously, that's not love, right?
Yeah.
But that's how I felt. And I'll never forget, I finally was like, you know what? Maybe I do want commitment. I'm going to see what this is about. So he is fireman. And I remember he was on a fire, and I was like, hey, guess what? I'm going to take you up on that date. And at this point, I was living with my sister. I was going to school. And I remember the first time I saw him, and I was getting ready, and he went to pick me up, and I opened the door, and not knowingly, but in my heart, it was like, this is my husband. And I was like, oh, hell no. No. And I saw him, and something inside of me was like, this is going to be your husband, not knowing that it was going to be the greatest lesson of my life.
Mm-hmm.
And he was everything you can possibly imagine. He was tall, handsome, did everything right. I could not find one thing that I was like, oh,
Yeah.
And I mean, he said everything I wanted to hear. He treated me in ways I had never been treated before.
Yeah.
And I literally had a Disneyland relationship where it was just like, everything was wow.
Mm-hmm.
Everything was wow. And I'll never forget, I started seeing him, I think it was like August was our first date. And at this point, it's October, and we had gone to like a haunted hayride thing. And we went back to his place, and he told me, I want you to be my wife. And I looked at him like, oh no,
Mm-hmm.
it scared me. And he was like, no, I know you're my person. And I'm like, I barely know this guy. But I mean, everything was perfect. I mean,
Yeah.
he lived in Long Beach. I lived here in Temecula, and he would drive like even just to see me for an hour. And I'm like, man, this guy must really love me if he's doing all this for me.
And you weren't used to that.
I wasn't used to that. And he's like, I told him, I'm like, hey, let's move in together, and then we'll go from there and see. He's like, no, I want you to be my wife. And he's like, why don't you want to get married? I'm like, because people cheat, nothing is forever. And I had that in me, right? Like, people cheat. My daughter's father cheated on me, and that's all I knew was infidelity.
Mm-hmm.
And for me to be able to trust, I mean, God, I didn't even trust myself, right? How am I going to trust another human being?
Yeah.
And he was like, look, we're going to show the world that this is possible. I'm like, and one day, he's like, one day you and I are going to be old, sitting down on a balcony on our bench and looking like everything. We made it work. He's like, let me show you, even if it takes the rest of my life to show you that love does exist. And I mean, what woman doesn't want to hear that, right?
Right.
And so at that point, I was like, okay, I'll try this, right? He hasn't done anything that I saw at that point that was a red flag. Or actually, now that I look back, they were all there. I just missed them.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so fast forward, I mean, by June, we were married. And I mean,
What were because you said red flags.
mm-hmm.
What were the little subtle red flags, even looking back now, that maybe you ignored?
Alcohol was one of them.
Mm-hmm.
I figured he's a fireman. They drink, right? No big deal. That's like the only thing I saw, not knowing long term how that would affect everything.
Yeah.
And I, and it's so funny because in my head, I set boundaries. I was like, we're not going to have friends of the opposite sex. We're going to be very open. Things that I ignored that I will say, I'll never forget. We moved in together in December. And I remember the first night we spent together, I woke up and my body was like, what did you do? And I was like, what? I was like thinking to myself, no, he's perfect. This is what, this is great. And then at that point, not knowing, my body started reacting. But I was not connected. I didn't know what I know now, right? That it was my body telling me this is not safe.
Yeah.
But because he brought me coffee in bed, but because he brought me flowers, I mean, I did not go without flowers my entire marriage till I knew it was the end because he stopped bringing them, right? And then, so we got married, and that's when the alcohol started kicking in and him drinking more. And, he was still Disneyland, and he was gone a lot. He's a fireman. So when we got together, it was just perfect. But inside me kept telling me something is not right. Something is
ignoring those.
And I was ignoring it. And then there was other cues in my marriage. We became more like roommates. There was no intimacy, right? And not to get too personal, but then that affected the way I perceived myself. Because I'm like, is there something wrong with me? Does he not find me attractive? Because there was...
So you're turning it back on yourself.
Yes.
There must be something wrong with
There
me.
must be something wrong. And I just said, okay, well, everything else is perfect. He's a provider. I mean, he was an incredible provider. He would wait up for me at night when I would get home, because back then I was bartending. And we would just talk. Like, we became really good friends, per se. And then I didn't know years later it was due because he had a porn addiction.
Right.
Right.
And it sounds like in there was like this slow erosion of your own identity.
Yes.
Your confidence, your intuition.
Yeah, my confidence, my intuition, and my body. I developed, I was always in pain. I always had stomach issues. And I did not understand why my body was feeling this way. And I remember that I started, questioning him, like, is there something wrong? And he's like, man, I do everything for you. What more can I do? Do you not see? And then in my head, I was like, no, he's right. He does. I just couldn't understand. I was like, well, why aren't you like this? So the rest of my marriage, I was trying to get back the man that I met. Not knowing that I couldn't, because he didn't exist.
Yeah.
But he still did nice things. Like, he'd go on fires and he'd come back and surprise me, whether I was at work or back then I was, going to school for esthetician. And he would just surprise me with flowers. And
so it just lead you to further gaslight your own intuition or your own feelings.
There was nothing this man would not do for me. So then in my head, I'm like, why is my body telling me otherwise? So fast forward, I started finding things on his phone that I would question. And he's like, what you're seeing is like basically gaslighting me. But I'm like, he's like, it's all a misunderstanding. And he's like, well, now you have to go to therapy, because if you don't fix this, I cannot handle you like this. And I was like,
so something's wrong with you.
And I was never this woman before. I had never been this woman in any dating that I had. And I could not understand what was going on. And then so I go to therapy. And I tell the therapist, I am having nightmares that he's cheating. I have nightmares. And I don't want to go in detail about his personal life, because he's not here to speak for himself, right? But I was telling her everything. And she's like, listen to yourself. Those are catastrophic thoughts. So not only was he gaslighting me, now I have a therapist gaslighting me and telling me that's due to your childhood trauma. Right? So she's like, he loves you. I see the way he looks at you. And, we would go in there together. And he's like, the way this man looks at you, I know how he looks at me, but something is not right. So then it was more focused on I was the problem.
Wow.
Right?
Yeah.
And then fast forward, one day she's like, you guys just got to get a divorce. And we both looked at her, and he's like, well, that's not happening. So fast forward, we didn't go to therapy anymore. So then I found another therapist to go on my own. And eventually he came in, and that's when everything really went downhill, because I was gaslit so much by the therapist prior. And this therapist was more like, okay, something's not right, your body. She was more of a holistic type.
She was more like even considering the somatic experience that you're having. Okay.
And I found some stuff on his phone, and I kicked him out. And he left. And my God, was I going through it, because I felt like an abandoned little girl. I felt alone. And he was my per se safe space, right, in my head. And then
now there is no safe space.
Yeah, there is no safe space. So I'm back to where I started, but in a different way, because I wanted to feel safe again. I wanted to know that a man loved me, that affection, that, hey, you're not alone. And I remember calling the therapist, and I started having panic attacks, which I did not have those before. So she would she was there to call me and like guide me through them and let me know, they're going to pass. You're not going to die. So then finally, the worst thing you can do is stonewall somebody. And I learned I had never been stonewalled before, right?
What is stonewalled? What does that mean?
Where they ignore you.
Yeah. So
then there was nothing more painful than to feel like you're not seen by the person that you literally worshipped.
Yeah.
Because I did.
So it's a complete withdrawal of affection.
Yes. It was like, yeah. So then I had already talked to the therapist. I'm like, this is what I found on his phone. And even though I saw it and I screenshot it so that he can't say you're crazy. Finally, he comes back and he's like, you and your daughter, or my daughter, he's like, you guys are my world. I cannot live without you. In my head, to be completely transparent, I was like, the bills are going to be due. He's a provider. You know what?
Yeah.
And I love him. So I allowed him back. And
can you tell me about what is the fear of leaving versus the cost of staying?
The fear of, so for one, a lot of things, he would, I didn't think much of myself.
Mm-hmm.
I got all my validation from the world.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So if he left, that would just confirm you're not lovable, you're not worthy, you're too much, you're crazy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that's how I felt my whole life.
Yeah.
So I did not want to feel that way. I'd rather live in the hell that I was living than face myself.
Yeah. Or the unknown.
So he came back and he didn't know that I had already talked to a therapist the whole 2 weeks he was gone, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I go to, we go to therapy and the therapist just acts like she had no idea what was going on. I was like, oh yeah, so just to let you know, I found this on his phone and I kicked him out. He's been gone for 2 weeks. And she looks and she's like, oh, she's like, do you care to explain? And he's like, this is a misunderstanding. And she's like, no, it looks pretty clear. She screenshot it from your phone. Do you want to talk about this? He's like, I feel cornered. This is not okay. I am not a bad guy. And I'm done with this. And he storms out. And as he storms out and I run after him, she's like, Hilda, I need you to know that you are not crazy.
Mm.
He's hiding things from you. And I should not tell you that as your therapist because it's so unprofessional. I just need you to know you're not crazy. I want you to go look up covert narcissist.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know this existed
You really
prior.
know this term?
I did. Yeah. So I was like, okay, so I run after him. And he's like, I told you that the guys sent me this link and I clicked on it and it's all a misunderstanding. This is not what I like. And I'm so confused because in my head, my nervous system is completely dysregulated. I'm like having panic attack after panic attack, anxiety, my body. I was in pain. I developed interstitial cystitis, autoimmune. And literally I was bedbound from how horrible the pain was. Mm-hmm. But just a trauma and everything was manifesting in my body because it was too much for my body to handle. And at that point is when I know my marriage went down because guess what? The mask is off.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I no longer worship this man. I no longer admired him like I did at one point. I couldn't. I physically couldn't anymore because the mask was off.
Yeah.
In my head now, I'm just trying to grasp the concept of everything of can I work through this? I loved him. Per se, he was the love of my life at that point, right? That's all I knew. He was the first man to ever make me feel safe, even though he was my abuser.
Yeah.
Right? It's so weird how
he validated you.
Yeah, he validated everything.
Yeah.
And so the rest of the time, I'm like, do I need to lose weight? Do I have to be more attractive to feel better so he can love me again?
Wow.
Right? So I spent a lot of time trying to figure out how can I get this man to love me? So then finally, he tore his Achilles, right? So for the first time every time we were married all those years, guess what? Now we have to be together because he can't go to work.
Yeah. There's no hiding.
Yeah. Then I realized at that point that he really had addictions. Mm-hmm. And then moving forward months later, He tore his Achilles in December. Came March, he stopped buying me flowers, so I knew he was done trying. Because he's like, I remember we were coming down from Oceanside, and he was driving and he tore his Achilles, and there was like a collision, and I think this is when it really hurt his ego, and he's like, I'm done with you. With his torn Achilles, he went and he saved the guy's life. The car was flipped over, pulled the guy out, and here he is in his boot, right? And when we got home, he's like, did you see what I did? I was like, yeah, you saved the guy. Good for you. So do all the other firemen, right? I mean, that's your career, right? I mean, you did something, you saved this guy's life. He's like, you're not going to tell me, Papi, I'm so proud of you. Well, I'm proud of you. Yeah, that's nice, right? But that is part of your job. And he was so bothered by the fact
that you weren't going to feed his
that I no
ego,
longer fed his ego, that he treated me, that he did not talk to me. When I say he didn't talk, I would help him, get up and down the stairs, get his clothes, but he would not talk to me. And oh my God, inside, it was like I was dying.
Yeah.
The worst pain ever. And I would be like, I love you. Can we just talk? At this point, it flipped. He knew how to manipulate me for me to come back in.
And he was just going to like feed that.
Yes. Yeah. And then fast forward, one night I caught him on the phone, and which was the greatest gift ever. Not knowing that he was actually text messaging my best friend.
Wow.
Of many years. And she ended up later admitting to that they were texting what I never found out, which none of my business now, right? But that's when he was finally, I caught him and I'm like, what are you doing? And he's like, I'm just on the phone talking to a friend, and he wouldn't show me the phone. So I remember going to grab it, and he's like, this marriage is over. And I figured out he's drunk. He'll get over it in the morning. He took his band off and he's like, we're done. And oh my God, I'll never forget. I felt like my life was over. I literally wanted to die. It's the best way. Like, I wanted to die. And he ended up telling me, at that point, I was like, I'm just going to give him his space. And we were cohabiting for a little bit. And so he found a place to move to. And all of a sudden, he was really social. I'm like, well, where do all these friends come from, right? Our whole marriage, he didn't socialize besides what I thought was, and all of a sudden he has all these friends that he's going out, baseball, good for him, right? But everything just changed. And it was so bad, friend, that it literally almost killed me. I ended up in the hospital for 6 weeks with a broken heart syndrome. To the point where they had told my daughter, like, go love on your mom, because my body was breaking down from all the emotional pain. Obviously, it was just pain that I had carried for a long time. He just triggered it even more. And when I was in the hospital, he was like, I love you and you're my world and I want to make this work. And those were the sweetest things to me, because I'm over here dying because I'm like, I lost this person, right?
Right.
And I told him, look, I love you too. I am going to go work on myself and you go work on yourself. Fast forward, I get out of the hospital and my friend told me, go through all his stuff, like phone. And part of me didn't want to. Like, I had glimpsed at his phone, but I never truly went through his phone.
You think you didn't really want to know?
Yeah, subconsciously, I'm sure that's what it was.
Yeah.
So
then there's always this deniability, maybe. Yeah.
So then I get home, I go through his phone. And I remember, like, even my family's like, man, he loves you. I remember, like, my sister, saying he loves you. But I'm like, no, man, something's off, right? You don't do this to people you love. So yeah, I found out everything. I mean, I found out. So it's so funny. I remember going to a pastor for counseling, right, on how to handle this. Mm-hmm. He told me, your husband has skeletons in his closet that if you knew what they were, they would bring you to your knees and break you. And I was like, can't get worse than what I know. It got worse.
Yeah.
My whole entire marriage was pretty much a lie. And I thought, how can somebody who sees me and loves on me and provides for me live a double life like this?
Yeah, lie to me.
How can you go be with other people and come home to your family like nothing ever happened?
Mm-hmm.
And my body literally rejected me. And it was so funny because they couldn't figure out what was wrong with me at that point. And my doctor wasn't available. And I saw his nurse practitioner and I was like, I don't want to see her. I was in so much pain. I want to see my doctor. And I'm going to this just to tell you how the body somatically, just everything is connected, right?
Mm-hmm.
I was in so much pain. I'm like, fine, I'll see the nurse practitioner. I mean, what does she know? But whatever, whatever they can give me. And she asked me, are you having problems in your marriage? And for me, I was like, what is it to you? And I was like, yeah, I think it's coming to an end. She's like, yeah. She's like, I think you developed an autoimmune disease. And from the stress, she's like, I actually see this a lot when you're being abused by a narcissist. And this is a PA, a nurse practitioner telling me this, mind you. At this point, my mind could not grasp the concept of all this because I didn't. I was not self-aware.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know how it all works together. And so then moving forward, we ended up, I called them. Well, first I called one of the women. I went through his phone and I talked to her and I just wanted to confirm because he would talk to her like 6 hours a day while I was at work. I'm like, man, you don't even talk to me for like 5 minutes, but you have time. So obviously it was somewhat romantic. It was his, dopamine hit for him or whatever, feeding his ego for a long time. And I spoke to her and I was like, hey, this is so-and-so's wife. And just wanted to come up who this was. And she just knew right away. As soon as she picked up the phone, it's like she knew it was me.
Mm-hmm.
So I remember I called him and he was on shift. And I was like, look, you're dead to me. I talked to so-and-so. I found all the videos. I found pictures. And you are dead to me. I'm like, how dare you make me think that I was crazy?
Mm-hmm.
How dare you? And I'm like, don't ever call me. Don't ever look for me. And he never did. And that was it. And then for the first time in my life, I knew that I can no longer go and feed my sexual desires in the sense of coping mechanism, right?
Mm-hmm.
Go be with somebody else who just
to look for the validation in the same
and not even
way.
that, but to feed my ego, to feel like I am enough.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I was the type of girl that I always had my just in case guy, just in case my car breaks down, just in case I'm sick, just in case I need some type of validation. I always did. Always. And, I'm not ashamed of that because that girl brought me to who I am. Right.
Yeah. I mean, this touches on like the sense of radical honesty.
Yes.
Like being radically honest with yourself about the ways that you had abandoned yourself.
Yes.
Okay.
So I remember, again, I felt like I was dying. I had just gotten out of the hospital and here I am having to deal with all this. And man, friend, he left me with $500. So in my head, I'm like, how am I going to survive? Mm-hmm. What's one of the first thoughts? Because I had my daughter, right? And I've always been my daughter's provider till I got married. And it was, I remember like my body would shake from the panic of the withdrawals of just everything.
Mm-hmm.
And the first time I was like, you know what?
Like the withdrawal of love, of attention, affection.
Everything.
Mm-hmm.
The best way I can describe it, I felt like a little 5-year-old girl that was abandoned in the forest and she was alone.
Mm.
And instead of calling my friends, instead of chasing everything that I typically would, I sat alone in my pain, which is something I had never, ever done. I had no idea how to sit with myself. I couldn't. I had too much in me to be able to sit. And I would say that went on for like 2 years. I isolated myself.
Wow. What was that like sitting with that?
Painful. God, I can cry right now.
Yeah.
It was painful is the best way. It was a blessing, right? Because I learned I sat with every part of myself.
Yeah.
All of it. And I mean, I felt unworthy of love, ugly. I mean, I remember going to therapy, and one of my things was like, look in the mirror and say you're beautiful, because I couldn't even look at myself because I'm like, I am this unlovable.
Wow.
I mean, I had a mental breakdown, pretty much a mental breakdown. And I found an amazing therapist, and she actually was different from all the other ones as well. Because I remember going in and I was like, okay, I'm ready to talk to somebody about it. I couldn't leave my house.
Wow.
I had so much anxiety, fear of the world, because I was like, man, this person can hurt me. How much more can the world hurt me?
Yeah.
I was a victim, right? But I knew that I can no longer go to men for anything in the sense of my validation. I had to look within.
Yeah.
There was something in me that was like, this is it. We're not doing this anymore.
Yeah.
And I remember going to therapist. She's like, okay, enough about what he did to you. How did you play a part? I didn't do anything. I was faithful. I never cheated. I cooked. I cleaned. I was there for him. She's like, no. She's like, we're going to look back.
How did you abandon yourself?
I worshiped him. I didn't take care of myself. I did nothing for myself. My whole world revolved around, what does this man need? How can I keep him happy?
And if you could do that, then you could control your environment.
Yes.
Yeah.
And not only that, I learned that I was a codependent manipulator.
So you were learning about your own patterns.
Yes.
Which then are having you to look at your own wounds.
Yes. And it goes back to, childhood, to my first relationship, my daughter's father, and then every other relationship after that. And then I realized, oh, I'm not perfect, right? So on top of everything, I had to sit with that.
Yeah.
That I took apart. I attracted this subconsciously. I attracted this man because now I don't need the validation of a man. I validate myself. I love myself. I nurture myself.
But when you're talking about how you attracted it,
yes,
right? Because whatever we think, we're right.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
So what were these subconscious
I'm not enough.
thoughts? Yes.
I am not lovable.
Yes.
I am not a love. And he showed me that.
Yeah. Like you literally attracted the thing that would affirm what subconsciously were the feelings.
Absolutely.
And how familiar was that to your childhood?
Yes, I felt like I always had to earn my love, even though I'm sure my parents loved, but my parents weren't affectionate. Their parents weren't affectionate. It's a generational thing, right? So, yeah. And then we dug deeper because I had a mental breakdown. I mean, when you want to talk about having a mental breakdown, I mean,
like you're on your knees.
I was on my knees. I mean, I would lay in bed for days and not get up, only if I had to go work, right? And then once I got out of that, I had to go work 4 jobs because now I got to take care of everything. I had just opened up my business pretty much. I had my home. I had to take care of my kid. And I'm so thankful for the therapist because it was at that point that I had to look within and get my power back because guess what? I wasn't a victim. This was part of something I created. I created this reality for myself. Yeah. So moving forward.
And you know what I want to like even point out is that it's not about like you blaming yourself.
No, absolutely not.
It's really about you taking back your power. Which is different from being different. Like, it's me, it's my fault. It's that. No.
No, because that's also victim.
Yeah.
No. I decided that I was going to look further within. And then, boom, then we start with all the people that I came across and how I came across you as well.
What was that journey like, that journey in? Like, what are the things that you found that helped you just to navigate that path?
There were so many things.
Like these wonderful therapists.
Yes.
I'm so glad you found this.
Yes. I mean, well, it all stems in childhood.
Right.
If I can change that narrative and work on that, I can pretty much work on everything else.
Right.
But it starts there.
You got to go to the root.
I have to go to the root. And it's just so funny how God, the universe works, because one day I'm at work and I started doing research. I mean, I have a PhD on narcissism now. I mean, I literally, like the 6 months I laid in bed, that's all I did.
That was your curriculum.
I've read hundreds of books. It's just insane what this will do, right? I'm just,
The motivation was there.
Yeah, the motivation was there. So then I one day I'm sitting down and I have a client come in and I see that she's a coach. And I didn't know anything about coaches. I just knew therapists because that's who I would go to. And the coach was like, oh, I'm an inner child coach. And I was like, hey, I heard about that. And prior to something about me, I wasn't much of a crier.
Mm-hmm.
It's really hard for me to really cry, right? Yeah. And I think because everything I've been through in my life, it's kind of like suck it up, right?
It's like a vulnerability.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it was really
it's
hard
not safe to be vulnerable.
Yes. Yeah. So I remember talking to her, and then I was like, man, I don't want to mix business with something like that. But I was like, hey, I literally just heard about this and I would love, and she was so kind. If you ever need somebody, her name's Calissa, but I can have that information for you guys if needed, but she just does inner child therapy.
Mm-hmm.
So she did, I went to her and I'll never forget. She's like, well, let's just talk. And I was so nervous because I'm like, oh my God, this is my client. How embarrassing, she's going to see my vulnerable side. And I remember 2 minutes in, she asked me a question. She's like, how do you feel? And I was like, oh, that's how I feel. She's like, okay, well, let's dig deeper. And I'm not lying, friend. Within 2 minutes, I'm bawling. I was so embarrassed because I was like, how does this work?
Yeah.
Right. And so I did a few sessions, but there's so much more to just healing and evolving and learning. And then I remember moving forward, I met you, and I remember coming to you for breath work.
Yeah.
Right. And one of the most beautiful things with you is as soon as I saw you, you felt like a safe space, which was very hard for me coming from the relationship I came. I was very, best way, my nervous system was so messed up that it was hard for me to trust. I thought everybody was out to get me.
Like gun shy.
Yes.
Yeah. And trusting yourself.
Yes.
Yeah.
More than anything.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember coming to you and having my first breathwork session. And it was so powerful for me.
Yeah.
And I remember I cried.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, just to be able to really feel things that I've been holding on, because therapy didn't help me with that part. Therapy is great. I'm not bashing it, but it's a different world when you just don't really talk and you just go within.
And it's just somatic. Just allow your body to feel.
And
things
and process. And
without words, really.
Yes, without words. And then I just remember telling you how I feel. And you're like, yeah, this is how God intended us to feel before life happened to us. Yeah. And I'm like, can I be in this like every day forever? Right?
Yep.
And then that's when where I started evolving on a whole different level.
Yeah, like you're building new beliefs about yourself.
About myself and
not your self-worth.
Yes. Not to get corny here, but I always say I will forever be thankful because you helped me with that.
Well, you had to be willing to go in.
Hey, it's not easy.
No.
Let me tell you, it's not. It's definitely.
It's simple, but not easy.
Yes. And I just remember like starting coaching with you as well.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when I did another coaching. And then I did coaching one-on-one with you. And it was just beautiful. I learned so much more about myself and breaking patterns.
Yeah, recognizing patterns. Like becoming aware of patterns is really like the gateway, because if you're aware of something, then you can make a choice.
Yes, because even with the relationship, I knew I had patterns, but man, those patterns linger and they like branch out to different areas of my life.
Yeah, not just romantically.
Yes. Yeah. And it's so funny because I always keep this in my mind. I remember coming to you and venting and you would just smile. Never judging me. Like that's the type of love everybody should have.
Yeah.
Just looking at somebody and being like, it's okay. You're going to get it.
Yeah.
You're going to get it.
You're already there.
Yes. Yeah. And moving forward, it's really a journey.
It is.
And I think it will always continue to be, because you will always be healing parts of yourself and different awakenings, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I remember I started coaching. I did more breath work with you. And, during my breath work sessions, different visuals would come up, things that I was working through, a lot of like my essay as a child, a lot of limited beliefs. I also was in a, I'm a survivor of domestic violence, and all those things were coming in. But I remember that we talked about ayahuasca. And I think that was my next.
Yeah.
Right.
The next catalyst on your journey.
Yes. Yes. And, I worked with you till that moment. And I think at that point is when everything was like, it's like the blindfold came off.
It was clear.
It was clear. And I remember, obviously, consider a Christian background, things I probably would never do, but my soul was like, you need this.
Yeah. And I really felt like at that time, once we'd been working together for a while, I remember you asking me about ayahuasca, and one I will never recommend.
No, yes, no,
right?
No,
because
now I know why.
Yes. Because no one can lead you to the altar.
No.
You have to be the one that says, I need this. I'm afraid even, but this is so important for me. But I think that you had finally been able to hear your own self.
Yes.
There was a reconnection to your spirit, to your truth, and trusting your body.
Yes, absolutely.
Trusting your intuition.
Yes. And as I started working on myself, I started seeing different things about myself in areas of my life. Like, this is probably the first time I'm going to say this out loud, right? Due to my sexual abuse as a child by multiple people, I had a thing where it was so hard for me to be affectionate with my own daughter. I love you, baby. And I'm sorry for that. But I never realized that kept me from truly getting close to my daughter, to my own child, because of the shame, the abuse I endured, the stories I created around that, right? That's one of the things I did notice. Another thing, I didn't want to have resentment towards my parents.
Yeah.
I didn't.
Yeah.
And even though I wanted to love on my parents, there were still parts of me.
Like a block.
A block. Yes. And I'll never forget, I remember right before I went, I actually told my mom I was going to go do this. And my mom's like, I hope they fix you. And I was like,
wow.
This is why I'm going, ma'am, because of you. No, I'm just kidding. And I just remember, okay, I'm going to go. I didn't know what to expect.
Yeah.
Nothing can prepare you.
Yeah. Nothing.
Nothing in this world. And I am thankful for the journey with you and you leading me, kind of mentally preparing my body, right? My soul for this.
For somewhere for it to land.
Yes. Yeah. And even at that, you
still,
yeah. So I remember going and I just knew that there was still some stuff left.
Residue.
As much as I prayed, was in my word. It's like, it's so deep in your soul.
Yeah.
And sometimes we're just really not that aware, but because I had worked a lot on myself, I knew there were still things that I had to dig deeper, right? And here I am at Arrhythmia in Costa Rica. And what to expect, no clue. One, I'm not very social. I mean, I'm social at work. People probably be surprised, but outside of work,
you're an introverted extrovert.
Yes.
Extroverted introvert.
So here I am traveling outside the country by myself to a place that I have no clue, but my soul's like, we're doing this. And we're not leaving till you clear all this stuff out of your system, right? Yeah. Generational stuff, generational trauma. So here I am, I go and, they have you do ayahuasca for 4 days. It's like an all night thing, right? All night ceremony. And in my head, there's a lot of thoughts I'm battling, does God want me to do this? Is this okay with God? And, and it's like God created everything and it brings you closer because it clears what's sin, in the way, the shame that blocks you to connect to your higher source.
Yeah.
So I go in medicine and, they tell you on your first day, it's like, show me who I've become. Ouch. Careful what you say. Right? Because here I am. I've done a lot of inner work.
Years of
yes. Really deep, when I started coaching one-on-one and other coaching I did but nothing can prepare you. Oh my God. I remember going in and, I'm with a bunch of people. I'm pretty nervous. I don't know what to expect. I take the first cup of medicine. I lay down and I'm like, oh, nothing's happening. So they did the second call. I go, I lay down and, there it goes. And right away, it was, I saw myself be born. And it was like beautiful. I saw my dad, my mother, I saw how they loved on me. And I was like, oh my God, this feels so beautiful. This is
so
loved. I
Yeah.
am so loved. My parents do love me.
Mhm.
It was the first time I truly felt loved. And then my whole life started, playing before my eyes from birth till the moment I got to arrhythmia. And everything was so beautiful. Even the trauma I had as a kid, the abuse, my physical abuse due to domestic violence, just everything. I had no ill feeling towards my life. And Mother Aya was like, this is life. It's beautiful. It's all those stories you attached to all that caused you pain, but it's not real. It's there, but it's led you to who you have to become or who you've become. It's a beautiful journey. And at that moment, it hit me, oh my God, I'm dying.
Mhm. The old self is dying.
Yes, the old self. And not only that, I missed too that she showed me who I was. And I was like, oh, hell no, that's not who I am. And it's like, no, this is who you are. This is things you've made your family feel, your friends feel. And these are your narcissistic traits. Because we all have them, right? It's kind of like we all have different traits that we carry to protect ourselves, right?
Right.
And one for me is I drop I'll never talk to people again. Like, bye.
Yeah.
And that's not healthy. Well, it also depends, right? What it is.
Yeah.
But that was my coping mechanism too. And also rejection. I don't want to be rejected, so let me reject you first. So she showed me. And I was like, it was so painful to watch all this, right?
It brought great humility.
It did. It humbled me in a way where it's like, I get it. I understand life. Like for the first time, I'm like, I get it. Like, I get it. Like my life was perfect. Perfect the way it was supposed to be to mold me to the woman that I am now, who I love, right?
Not a victim.
No, I fought so hard to be this woman. I worked so hard to heal those parts of myself that were created because of the trauma, right?
Right.
And so then I fell into the pit of hell. I experienced hell. And that could be my own life that I lived in, things that I experienced, right? But then I also felt God's love. And it was after that, like it was just such a beautiful, painful experience because it brought me closer to myself and a better understanding of myself and things that I had done that I was unaware of. Second day, this is why it's so important for me to talk about this part, was merge me back with my soul. Merge me back with my soul. So what happens when we endure trauma as children or just in general, it separates us. There creates shame, stories. Yeah, we're split. And I'll never forget that I started seeing things that I was unaware of my childhood that I had blocked. And it was so painful because she was magnifying this, right? And I was like, oh my God. And next thing you know, not only am I watching this, but then I hear somebody in the background screaming and I look back and it's Jesus Christ being crucified. And Mother Aya tells me he paid the price. Forgive them. Forgive them. Friend, for the first time in my life, I was able to forgive my abusers. I forgave my ex-husband. I forgave my daughter's father. It's like a weight was lifted that I didn't even know I was carrying around.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was so powerful. And the other 2 days were just, I learned, but the first 2 were
The most powerful.
the most powerful. And the thing in return, when I came back home, my reality changed.
How did it change? I mean, is it, I suspect,
Yes.
but like for you, was it, I feel like you learned to trust yourself again.
I did. I learned to trust myself. And I learned to love differently. I'm no longer, I'm still human, but I function more from my heart than I did logically.
Right.
It like opened up parts of me that I didn't know needed to be open. And I'll never forget like talking with my daughter while I was in Costa Rica. And she's like, Mom, I don't know why I'm crying, but I am. I didn't know. I was healing my daughter.
Yeah.
As I was healing myself. I was healing parts of my daughter that I didn't even know needed healing. And the way that my life, when I came back, was different is that my mom became my best friend, which is something.
Yeah, I know that was a very powerful piece of healing.
Yes.
Was to feel this actual love from your mom.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember, besides you helping me, by the way, thank you. I will always hold gratitude for you helping me when I got back, right? To ground. But my mom came and took care of me. And for my mom to take care of me after doing something that's so against, right? Because my mom's very conservative Christian, to come take care of her daughter through one of the hardest moments that she'll ever experience, to come back to, ground herself. And I remember just looking at my mom and I couldn't stop crying because I'm like, I love this woman. She gave me life. She gave me the most beautiful. And for the first time in my life, I saw my mother as a woman and not as my mom.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'm like, she has her own stuff.
Yeah.
Right. And that now my mom looks at YouTube videos about this.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like people might not realize that.
Well, I think she sees the change and can feel the change. This isn't just something you're speaking.
Because she does tell me. I mean, I still have little things that I can work on, right? I mean,
yeah, we all do.
Yeah,
we're still here.
Yeah, for sure. But like, I remember like I look at her and I cry. If I FaceTime my mom, I cry. She's like, are you depressed? I'm like, no, I just love you. I just love you. So it's a love. Wow. I'm 42 now. I left my house when I was 15 years old. So I had so much resentment towards my mother and so much pain because I wanted her love.
And her protection.
And now I can lay in my mom's arms and she can hold me. And I know it sounds weird, but it's like, I love that.
Yeah.
I love being held by my mom because I feel safe with her. She's my safe space now. And I didn't have that. And now I realize, I notice I can hug my daughter without having any inner shame. I can love on my daughter. I can show up for my daughter. Mm-hmm. My daughter, I love how she sets boundaries with me. She tells me how she feels. And before I get
mad.
Yes.
Yeah.
And now, even though
you see the importance of it,
yes, I see how important it is to validate my daughter's feelings because she is my world.
But I think that you had to kind of take this journey and also to validate your own feelings.
Yes.
Your own ability to set boundaries, your own ability to love yourself.
Yes.
Really, in order to create that space.
Oh, yeah.
With your mom, with your daughter.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And I just feel like, I'm closer to my family.
Mm-hmm.
I love in a very different way. And it's just been beautiful, friend.
Yeah.
A beautiful journey.
If you could talk to your former self in the midst of that relationship where she was doubting herself and gaslighting herself,
oh, God,
what would you say to her?
You're enough, for one. Mm-hmm. You are loved. You've always been enough. And you have no idea, but this is going to be the greatest gift ever for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like our greatest pain often leads us to our greatest awakening.
It is. I will forever be thankful to this man. Could I have gone without experiencing this? Yes. But guess what? I wouldn't be where I'm at now. Mm-hmm. I mean, every area of my life has changed drastically. Yeah.
I love it.
I've met great people like you. I mean, just everything in general. I'm surrounded.
I also think it's changed your practice.
Oh yeah,
because
for sure.
I've seen how when you work with your own clients, one, you're a breathwork facilitator now.
Thanks to you.
Yep, yes, and you're amazing.
Thank you.
But I can see how even when you're dealing with your own clients who often come to you and they're expressing their feelings and you're looking at their skin.
Yes.
What's really kind of cool about how you treat clients is you look at their skin and can see some of the emotional things that are going on.
So I can look at somebody's skin and I call it
the dogs barking.
No, it's okay. They're just sending their love. Yeah. So I can tell if they're being emotionally abused. I can tell they're highly stressed. I can tell if there's a narcissistic person in their life because of the inflammation. Like my whole thing is now I look at patterns.
Yeah.
Everything's a pattern.
Everything.
And that's when
it's either being repeated or interrupted.
Yes. And I mean, I've had clients that have left narcissistic relationships and they heal from their skin.
Yeah.
They don't break out. They don't have inflammation. They don't have gut issues. because everything is one.
It's connected.
It's connected.
It's all
Emotionally, mentally. I hate to say it. I mean, pretty much any type of abuse, I can look at somebody's skin and I know most statisticians be like, she's really out there. But let me tell you, when you really dig deep, that's why when I have consultations with my clients, I ask them, what's your level of stress?
I love that.
And then once I hear, I can pretty much, and for whatever reason, typically during the consultation, they tell me a lot.
Yeah.
But it helps me because it helps me better help their skin. I can,
Not just their skin.
Yes, not just their skin. I mean, now I started coaching women as well, along with somatic breath work. So just all this has been an amazing gift in my practice. Every area of my life.
Well, I want to put some reflections for listeners.
For sure.
Right. So if there was a version of you listening to this, you know, however many years ago. And here's a couple. If you're in it right now, listen to this podcast and remember what you said. You're enough.
You're enough.
You've always been enough.
You've always been enough.
And if you're questioning your reality, listen to this podcast.
Yes, because let me tell you, your intuition will never lie to you.
Yeah.
It is, if you're having an autoimmune disease, it can be due to trauma that you have not processed or you are being currently abused. Your body will let you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you've just left, what?
Reach out to Lena or I. We'll guide you through it. No,
go in.
Yeah, go in. Go in. We will help you go in. It's painful as it is. Let me tell you, it is the greatest gift.
Yeah.
Because when you come out on the other side, you're like, oh my God, I did it.
It's everything.
It's everything. Like, I understand. I am love. I am enough. And I always have been.
Yes. What are the common misconceptions about narcissistic abuse and healing?
Like, I don't know. It's a great question.
Those are the things, like in the reading that you've done, a lot of the misconceptions, like when you were talking about that it's my fault. If I could just do this, then it'll change the behavior.
No, let me tell you, love is supposed to feel safe. So if you're in a relationship, I mean, I am no therapist, no dating coach, but if you're in a relationship and you don't feel safe, let me tell you, your relationship is supposed to be your safest space. You're in the most intimate relationship you'll ever be. It should always be your safe space.
Mm-hmm. And one is to create that within yourself.
Create that within yourself.
And also see where you're looking outside to constantly create that.
Yes,
absolutely. I think that is a big red flag. It's like if you're constantly looking outside to create a safe space.
Yes.
There's something, there's a disconnect there.
Yes. You are your safest space.
Yeah.
One of the best things, greatest gift that you can give everybody around you and yourself is work on yourself.
Oh, that is so true.
Yeah.
That is so true.
And I feel like when you do that, your whole reality changes by default.
Everything changes.
Everything.
Yeah. That is the greatest gift.
Yeah.
I'm going to put in some journal reflections for people. And
okay, perfect.
Think of any that you want to add, but here are a few. So if you're listening to this and it is really hitting home for you, it's striking a chord, something is resonating for you, is just to sit down. And I want you to ask yourself these questions. Where have I been gaslighting myself?
Yeah.
What truth have I been afraid to admit? What does radical responsibility look like in my healing? And radical responsibility is about like going all in. Like, how have you contributed to the state that you're in right now?
Yeah.
It's not about blame. It's about empowerment, taking back your power. And the last question is, who would I be without this story?
Yes. And that's the most beautiful thing. Who would I be
without this story?
Yeah.
And Hilda, thank you so much for being here and sharing such a vulnerable experience, a vulnerable story. I think it's one that'll help a lot of people. And I hope that whoever's listening will send this to someone that they know it will resonate with. And I will have some links to Hilda in the show notes. Her place is called Ethereal Day Spa in Temecula. It's going to be more than about your skin, just so you know.
Always. It always
And
is.
we will be working together very soon in the future on retreats. And
I am so excited.
Yeah.
I feel like I was allowed to go through this.
Yeah.
You and I allowed to go through things in life.
All of us.
All of us.
Yeah. It's all your
We pay it
curriculum.
forward.
We do.
Yeah.
We do.
That's what we're here for.
Just don't be afraid to let that shift go.
All right, that's been another episode of Let That Shift Go podcast. I'm Noel.
And I'm Lena. Let us know what your questions are, and we'd love to use them on a future episode. Or check us out on Insta at Let That Shift Go, or visit our website, serenitycovetemecula.com.